Better now? It's okay? Cool. Nice to see many new faces and some more known. Let's get some other into the crowd also. Okay, we're here to talk about a log that called TopCallStats. And this session is named Why Are My Users Complaining About My Big, Beautiful, but Really Sluggish Solution? A dive into TopCallStats might give you the answers you need. Not necessarily, but it might, okay? So you're supposed to present yourself. One prerequisite here is that you probably can read, so let's read for yourself, and I'll start with a short story instead on why I'm here today. For quite a long time ago, and for many years, I worked at a company. I was there for like 16 years, and during that time, when people asked me, what do you work with? I was kind of squirmy. I didn't kind of like that question because what I was doing wasn't likable. So my answer usually was, I work for the devil. And that just gives me more questions, right? Yeah. So what did I do? I was developing a dialer system with FileMaker. And a dialer system that was connected to a software PBX. And this has the prominent feature of predictive dialing. I'm not sure if any one of you are familiar with the term, but it's a way for a fewer number of clients to call a lot of phone calls, meaning phone salespeople. So it's the annoying call, there's no one there, right? That's me, but not anymore. Now I'm actually working with Square Moon and enjoying it quite a lot. But for the predictive dialing part, that demands a solution that is quite snappy. Because if the time goes, you will lose the customer call, and we can't have that. So we need a snappy solution. And if you don't already know it, if you have a large solution, you need to think about performance, and that doesn't come by itself. So in our case, we actually had quite good planning and quite good structure on the database, but you cannot think of everything. So once in a while, your CPUs are struggling. And that's when performance comes in. And the tool of choice to look for performance was TopCallStats. And for whatever strange reason, I actually enjoyed looking at that log. So that's why I'm here today. I've been looking through that log quite a lot. What is TopCallStats? It's a log function that's been available in FileMaker Server for quite some time. I'm not sure actually how long, but at least since FileMaker 15. And it's a performance log. Every 30-second interval, it logs the 25 heaviest call on the server. And I will repeat it again. It's not a complete log of every call. It's just the heaviest one, the 25 heaviest one in every 30-second interval. And that's one part of the detective work when you're in this log. The timestamp that you see here, it's not when the call was made, it's when the actual metric was stored in the log. That is, yeah, it's something that makes the detective work a bit harder, not that much. And when we started using it, it was said, don't use it because it hampers performance. I have seen no such evidence. So I always will recommend having it enabled. Because when shit starts flying, it's invaluable to have it enabled. I'm not sure about the latest version of FileMaker Server, but at least before, when the server was restarted, the log was disabled, so you actually have to re-enable it after restart. It is. Great. Okay. So when do I look in TCS? When should you look in TCS? I will abbreviate it with TCS sometimes, sometimes not. Well, since it's performance we're looking for here, usually there is some struggling going on the CPU. And what's kind of tricky with FileMaker Server is that it's not that good at threading. So you might look at a total CPU, and it's like 25, 30%, what's the problem? Why is it slow? And then you go look at the cores, and you see one core is struggling. It never bobs down like this one. It's up there all the time. If you're the one to see it first, probably not. It's probably your clients calling you. There's something wrong here. It takes forever. But this is how it's looked at the server. The CPU is struggling, or at least one or several cores are. And that could be the FileMaker Server, or it could be the script engine, or it could be the data API. You don't know that when you come here, but it's a clue for the detective work. And you obviously have different clients. Some clients you have already established a monitoring deal that you're actually supposed to monitor this all the time. And some clients you just look once in a month or whenever they call. So it's kind of tricky to monitor, since it's you're looking at part of the total CPU, not the complete percentage that might not indicate any problem. But we have a extremely talented dude not just for monitoring, but he's really good at it, and uses a tool called Zabbix that I can recommend. It's really great for this, and you don't have to look all the time. It gives you warning, and you might actually already be on it when the customer calls you. That is also very good. Let's just, how many of you have actually seen a TopCallStats log? Oh, quite a lot, actually. Then you won't be intimidated by this. So, yeah, here it is in all its glory. It's a long log, and it's, while you're scrolling down, you're losing track of what was that column. I don't know yet. I must scroll up, and I can't find it. Yeah. It's cumbersome, right? Let's get back to that. So, by that, I recommend, if it's not an acute matter, import the log into a FileMaker file. it will be much easier to search in it and just get what's going on. If it's an acute matter, you probably just open it in a text editor like I did there. You scroll to the bottom and you see if there is any obvious signs of long calls. And you should also know that the time stated here is not seconds, it's microseconds. So if you see it 5 million something, it's 5 seconds. And when you look for something, there's also a column called wait time. If it's a long wait time in combination with a long total elapsed time, that's probably not your culprit, because the culprit will probably not have much of a wait time. And one thing to note is that a long call, meaning a long call that is longer than 30 seconds, longer than the 30-second interval, might actually be a row in several of the 30-second intervals. So one call can be several times in the log. Okay, this is not just for me, I hope, but I need to calm down. So this is my dog. He's a good doggo. Here he is in a typical Swedish forest, hunting for chanterelles. He's a good dog. Okay, let's get going. So how do you decipher TopCallStats? There are some key columns. You get the timestamp, as I mentioned before. That's the timestamp of the metric when the interval was taken. And you had the total elapsed, that's how long time in microseconds that it has been going on from start until the metric was measured. And you got the operation, that's what the task the server has to work on. And the target, that could be the database, the table, and the field ID. It's not always that specified, unfortunately. The wait time I mentioned, and of course the client column. Sometimes the long times just points at a user. It could be a user that's doing something out of the ordinary. So, here we have a simple file in FileMaker with a TopCallStats, and this is after a crash actually. So I think we got a, yeah. So it's not an exact science. I realized that whilst preparing for this actually. So this is just an example. I will go into more detail, but you can see that we have the timestamp column, and you see that it's the same time for actually, you don't see that at all because I have a found set. Yeah, so from here, we got 8:36:56. It's the same time all the way down here. And you can see the total elapsed, and you see it's a large number, but this is actually 2.4 seconds or 2.5 seconds. And you get some different operations. You get commits, you get queries, and you get the target. You can see that it's naming a table, or not naming, it's identifying it by an ID. And you got the client there, and the wait column. There are some columns. Don't look at them all, just when needed. Okay, I'm going to say that I learned this mostly by digging into it myself. So if any of you have any recommendations, you should look into that. Please feel free to do so. I might have some black holes in this knowledge. But I must say that some of it has been strengthened by Soliant, that has a great blog, and also one about TopCallStats. If you, I can't recommend it enough. They're really great, that blog, for many topics. Okay, so let's get back to the presentation. These 4 operations we have here are one that I often find when we have performance issues. I'm not saying there aren't others, but they do show quite often. And the query, it's a find of some sort. It could be a regular finder in a script, but it could also be like a go-to-related record or something. It goes through some field at least. And you can see, as in this case, you also see a query with an index percentage. Have you ever been in a large table, find mode, and you search for something and you hit enter, and then you realize, shit, that field isn't indexed? Well, this will happen for you. The server, I need to index this, because by default, every field is none and automatically create index. So the server serves. And when it does an index on a field, it kind of locks everyone out. And if you got multiple users on the solution, they stack up. And then you'll have something lock conflict. There are more than just query lock conflict. It's commit lock conflict and others. And many times the only solution to get out of that is to kill the server. Probably you have experienced that. So I think if we haven't already, learned to never put a field on a searchable layout that is not indexed, if we're talking about large tables. That is a killer. And then we have perform script on server. I'll go into that on more detail. Okay, if we go into the queries, in the log, you'll only see you know which file it is, and you know a table ID and a field ID. I'm one of the few who actually develops on a Windows platform. Is it anyone else who does that? We have to go the long way, because if you're developing on a Mac and you use Monkeybread software, you can, in defined database, show the ID of the table and the field. You and me doesn't have that. I actually talked to Christian. It's a tougher development process to get anything like that done in Windows. So instead, if there is a large solution, I'm usually having an XML representation of that database lying around. Because in the XML representation, you might find the base table ID 291, that's the one. Okay, we're in the order description table. And then you find the field ID. And you find it's the description field. Some idiot searched in the large description field that wasn't indexed. Oh, maybe it is now, yeah. Right, I skipped one. So once you have established what field it is, if you have developed the solution by yourself, you might know where you put that field on a layout, or if you, this is a bad example, but if you put that field in a script somewhere. But most often you don't. So you have to use some kind of tool to look for this, and I guess most of you have your favorite. I'm using base element, and the process is simply look for that ORDO11 description in base element or whatever tool you're using, and you get a list, and you get to go through them. If you're not familiar with the solution, you might, it's that field, it's that script. Just in this case, I think we did a restructure of the order table to move the description into another table. And it's a new table. Something needs to be indexed. So this field was previously in the order table. Now it's in an order description table. That was what bite our ass. Okay, then we have the operation perform script on server. This time, the TCS is not that helpful because you see, I don't know if you see actually, but the operation is perform script on server, and the target is hemfix server. That's just a file name, a database file name. And I can see that it's run by someone called Victor. But I don't know which table. I don't know if it's a script run or anything. I know it's a script, but not which script. So here I have to do an additional kind of detective work. There is another log. There's a lot of logs. But this log is called access log. And it's to keep track of any clients using the server. And when you start a perform script on server, there starts a little thin client on the server, a perform script on server client. And if you know the name of the person running the script, and you know about which time, also remember the timestamp in the TopCallStats log, it's not when the call was run. So you can do kind of a span search in the access log, and you will find, in this case, Victor. But you'll find him perhaps more than one time in that 30-second span. So once again, in this case, I get 2 scripts that both matches the TopCallStats record. Well, that's just to get on with it. Look at both the scripts, see what is taking the time. Yeah. Any questions so far? You're still awake? Mostly. I'm glad because now I have a treat for you. These are 2 of my cats. I have 3, but that's 2 of them. They are sisters, super cute together, and they are a murderer of ranks. This summer, I think we have at least 1 mice every day presented to us. So they are good cats. They serve their purpose well. Okay. I hope this information will help you. And I want you to use common sense when you look at this log. Some of the long times you will find might be during the night, maybe not worthy of your time. Some of them happens very rare, also maybe not worthy of your time. So look at time of day, and look at the frequency, and look if it's something that's occurring like on special days. It could be some user doing some reporting on special days, or it could be some user working from home, making with a slow internet that could cause trouble along the way. And you should also take note on special considerations. Once in a while, you're running backup on the live system during the day. Something gets slower then, because the backups will lock some part of the database whilst it's running. Yeah. Still with me? I have one other treat. And this is the third cat. He was the only one who accepted any kind of dress on Halloween. The other ones threatened us with blood if we were to try something like that. So, once again, do you have any questions? One there.
Hi, thanks.
Yeah.
Great. Are you looking at this regularly, every day, every week, or just when you have problems? Or do you have like scripts that check if, you know?
I usually look at it when someone says, Thomas, I need help. There are performance issues. I'm involved in some rather large systems, and it occurs from time to time. And if I'm in a regular meeting with them, and I actually don't have any development stuff talking that's of any use, I use that time to look. How does it look right now? It looks fine. I don't have to say anything. But otherwise, I can just, how is it feeling right now? Is it slow when you're doing that? I can be somewhat prepared. So not that regularly, but I'd say once a week, something like that, depending on how the situation is.
Have you thought about automating that on the server? I mean, you can read the TopCallStats into a database on a regular basis, check for abnormalities, track them, document them, and have them ready when you need them.
Yeah, for sure. I've thought about it, but time is a rare commodity these days. On my last employment, when I worked with the dialing system, we actually had that log presented to us. So if there were any extremities, we actually saw that. But that was, well, it wasn't an alarm kind of type, but we could see it rather easily without entering the server.
On the other hand, you would put additional strain on the server, wouldn't you?
Yeah, probably. But I'm not sure if it's... I mean, when the server is struggling with something like this, it's not all of the cores, so you probably have power enough to do that.
Normally, it seems to me that when a FileMaker server that is doing just FileMaker, just quotation marks, is running above 10% load, yeah, normally it starts to struggle. So, or at least it's visible to the trained eye.
Yeah. Yeah. As I said, you have to look at the separate cores to actually realize there is an issue.
Thank you.
Thanks.
You mentioned the Soliant hosting, or work at the blog post from Soliant.
Yeah.
They have this thing in their hosting panel called Datadog, and it extracts the TopCallStats and then draws graphs and correlates them with like real-time history of the CPU and memory and network bandwidth usage.
Yeah.
So it's like a really good tool for this kind of stuff. I just thought I'd flag that.
Yeah, that's good. That's great. I actually think you can do that with Zabbix also.
Yeah.
I haven't got. Yeah. Thanks.
Maybe a side question. You mentioned base elements.
Yeah.
I use it too, and recently I just tried latest version to import TopCallStats. I selected the solution import and it highlighted it as red. Do you have that phenomena as well?
I never import TopCallStats into base elements. I just, when I actually find what field is the issue, I search for the field name in base elements.
Okay. Yeah, I thought that would be, it's probably because he built it that it's convenient to get the field name from the report, however.
Yeah. Yeah, they need it. But you could also, I mean, on Windows, you can use MBS also. They have functions to retrieve the field name and table name via the ID. So you can still get use of MBS, but not that easily.
Okay.
I would also, Andreas from Codeo, we use FM perception, and they also have a very nice feature for importing TopCallStats, and it's very easy to. It takes some time, but it actually maps the field names. It makes it very very powerful. Thanks. My colleague here is the expert. So.
Cool.
Just if it helps you too, you can write a custom function to get the field ID as well. You know?
Yeah. Okay.
I can send it to you later.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
All right, because then you just put it in there, like in your field, and you can just convert that to a field name from your.
Yeah.
And add it as a column, like a calculation. Should work.
Yeah. Thanks. Nothing. Dan, thanks a lot. You've been a pleasure. And if you want to, please approach this approachable guy.